tough because it varies given everyone's draft position. But really, like ideally, big picture, how are you handling the wide receiver position this year? Are you looking to make sure you have one of those players in the top tier, your top 4, 5, 6 guys you mentioned at the top of the show? Would you prefer to get a top 4 running back instead and then rattle off in that receiver value of tiers you mentioned earlier? How are you handling it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm approaching it in a similar way as years past. I'm probably not as determined to get a second running back in the first 2 rounds or second running back in the first 3 rounds, because I do think there's some depth at the running back position in those middle rounds. Like it's more appealing in the 5th, 6th round than it ever has been, or at least it has been that I can remember in the last 5 years. I just think that when you look at the receivers available 3rd to 6th, 3rd to 7th round, you can really put together an appealing upside receiving core within that group of rounds, and add that to maybe a hero RB approach with a stud tight end in the 2nd round, or even if you went running back, then you hit receiver for about 4 rounds. You might have to play some games at tight end, but you can get a Michael Pittman, a McLaurin, or a Robinson in the 4th round, a Brandon Cooks then in the 5th round, or maybe even the 6th round, a Darnell Mooney in the 6th or 7th round. You can get some really high target productive players with that group, and you're getting this receiving core now that has the upside to sort of match what some of these zero RB folks are trying to do by drafting 3 or 4 running receivers straight off the board. So I think that's how I'm going to approach it. I have to start getting into some of these drafts a little bit more and sort of see which RB2s I'm comfortable with there in the 5th, 6th round. Am I getting the guys I want? Because if you don't, and you're starting to play RB2 by committee, which is okay, that makes you a little uncomfortable coming out of the draft. But it's okay to do that, especially in redraft formats where you can play the waiver wire and do some of that.
And with that, I am pragmatic. I completely agree with you. I think it depends entirely on your draft position, but I am more inclined to make sure I come away with everyone would take Jonathan Taylor or Christian McCaffrey 1 and 2 for the most part anyways. But I am more inclined to take Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook as well, and then grab receivers from that point forward, especially the values we mentioned below their ADP, which we actually have above ADP per our projections,